Last week was very interesting. If you didn't see it, there were all kinds of tech issues. So this week, hopefully things go a little smoother. Now live on YouTube. Yay. And then I just got to get Kick up on my phone and I'll watch the chat on my phone. That's what I did last time. I did have one person in chat last time that I didn't see until they left, so I apologize for that. Kick doesn't seem to be... Oh yeah, it says live. Oh, there we go. Okay. Just muted it. I'll keep it up over here. So today I'm going to do something different. I haven't done it yet. Last time I did a song using an arpeggio from a DIY synth and an ambient kind of song, no drums or anything. And I had all kinds of tech issues in here in the studio, but the song itself actually sounded pretty good. And since then, I recorded everything, and I did all the basic mixing. I kind of have the mix close to where I want it. There'll still be some tweaks probably before I'm done, but it's pretty close. And then I still have to do like some compression on the master and things like that. But today what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you, because this song, there's no drums, so there's lots of room to add little sound effects, risers, swooshes. So today I'm just going to record a whole bunch of those and show you how we do them and add them in. So that's the plan for today. I wonder if I can get this camera over here down. Probably can get it down right at the System 8, because I'm probably going to do most of it on the System 8 just because it's my most versatile synth. I can select all kinds of different filter types, and then also there's FM and all kinds of things. Great for sound effects. And then it's got some built-in effects with it as well. So that's going to be the plan for today. Let's just start off here so you know where I left off. So here's the track. You see I have everything all laid out in here. I collapsed my MIDI tracks and then put the audio that's recorded right below them. There's not many tracks, and it's a fairly basic song. I just need to add these little swooshes and effects. I left a gap at the beginning because I need some sort of effect to lead into the song, some sort of build up, and then it starts. And then a lot of these places where you see things start to come in, for sure those are going to have some sort of swoosh or something leading in. And there may be a few little effects. Last time I showed some chiptune chord type stuff and some little percussive sounds that I can make on my DIY synths. I'm probably going to record a fair bit of that on the one DIY synth as well. So I'm going to start with the System 8, then do some DIY stuff, and then start placing them around, see how much time I have at that point, because I'll do most of my effects in the box. This was a bit stuttery for me because I did a few reverbs per track plus my usual 2 aux channels. So it was being a bit stuttery last week, but let's see how things are now. I'm just going to play it through from start to end right now, and then I'll show you a couple of little things that are important about it. So just right now, and just enjoy the song. Here we go. Okay, so that's the song from last week, minus the effects and stuff that we're gonna take care of today. And just a reminder for anyone watching, you feel free to ask questions in the chat on YouTube, Twitch, Kick. I'm gonna try to monitor them, check them every 5 or 10 minutes just to see what's going on. Okay. Let me show you a couple of things that I did of note. This track, this piano, this is that weird Casio synth. It's PCM waveforms, really cheesy Casio ones, going through an analog filter and an analog chorus. So it's just this weird vintage cool vibe, very like cheesy cool vintage. I'm going to show it to you first just with some reverb and EQ on it, so you get a sense of how it sounds. Now that's not bad, but I took it up to the next level here. I added tape Mellow-Fi. Who even makes that plugin? Is it Arturia? Yeah, it's Arturia. I have a bunch of Arturia stuff. I think I had a soft tube tape one too, no? No, it got saturation. Anyways, sorry. So here it is without. Now with, and I'll shut it off and on. Off, on. Sorry. Sorry, just had a little cough attack there. But you can hear the difference between the two. This is without, and then with. Without, with. Just gives it a little bit of wobble and some slight distortion, saturation, a little bit of noise. Just makes it sound like it's been run through a tape. Just adds to the cheesy vibe of it. Did I put it on anything else? Yeah, I also put it on these strings. Oh, it's kind of a brassy string sound, but is it? No. Where am I? These. Sorry, mixed up my tracks. So here are the strings on their own. So this is clean, just reverb. And now with the tape effect. You're especially in those sustained parts that you hear the wobble. The pitch is just kind of shifting a bit. Anyways, I did those couple of Tapeify things just to give it more of that lo-fi kind of feel, Boards of Canada-ish type of thing. Okay, and so now let's start making some sounds. I probably should have done this earlier, but give me a sec because I am going to, you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to lower this camera over here. I should have thought of this ahead of time since I'm going to be doing so much on this System 8. It's kind of a cramped space in here to have 2 cameras, 2 computers, and like, I don't know, couple dozen synths at least. Lots of them are modules though, but still. I gotta get down just a little more. Sorry, I'm doing this live. I should have done it ahead of time, but it's gonna give you a better view of what I'm doing if I take the minute to do it. Okay, here we go. Check this out. Boom. So there's that lead sound from last week. With it, I have pitch bend up and down, controlling filter cutoff. And then going up sends LFO at a high rate to the cutoff. So I just want the phone over here where I can see the chat. So, System 8, if you don't know, it can do a lot of stuff. People don't realize what a versatile synth this is. You can load in what they call plug-outs, which are models of a bunch of Roland classic synths. And here I've got Jupiter 8, I think Juno 106, and then the Jupiter 4. That's what I got. Yeah, this is Jupiter 4. That's a Juno. And it's an awful one to show it. This is the that's the Jupiter 8. So it can emulate all those classic synths, right? But it also has the core System 8 engine, which gives you all kinds of different oscillator types, FM, and all kinds of weird stuff, super saws and things, a whole bunch of wave shapes way beyond what you would expect. And then the filter types, there's, you get like minus 12, minus 18, minus 24, high pass and low pass. You get band pass. You can use the Jupiter filter, the Juno filters, and then there's this weird, I forget what it's called. Let's just get into editing it and I can show you. So, manual. Okay, gonna turn off all the effects for now. Sorry, I got something in my throat again. I got a cough. Sorry about that. I hope I'm not coming down with something. I had a headache before this too. Took some Tylenol. Sideband filter, that's what it was. So you get low pass or high pass, 12, 18, and 24 on both. Sideband filter, which, let me just show you a regular saw wave. Here we go. So what was that? That was in C, the song we're working on. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear that in there. But then there's all different versions of this weird filter. I'm gonna turn that up a little bit. It's hard to hear. System 1 filter. So you have this System 8 and the System 1 filters, just slightly different. Jupiter 8 filter. Juno 106, very resonant. Formant filter, I forgot about this. Okay, Jupiter 8, Juno, Formant, Formant. And do different vowels. Harmonic filter. This one I don't fully understand. Oh, you can set the feet. Kind of like an organ. Probably be good for doing organ sounds. Not what I'm doing here. Or even Bell FM stuff. Okay, so done showing off my synth for now. Let's just do a regular white noise. How long of an attack can I get opening this up? Let's get a regular filter in here. Oh, you know what? There isn't a bandpass. Huh. And I just want the noise, not the tone. Hold that. Adding the resonance makes it more of a peak. If I want bandpass, I could go. The Juno is very resonant. It'd be more like the bandpass. I was letting a lot of that noise through though. Just give me a second here to fiddle. I kind of like just the System 8 filter on there. Let me try some fast audio rate modulation. A little less of the LFO strength. Hey Jacob, appreciate you making cool content for streaming. Very cool. Thank you, Mary. That's nice of you. Thanks. Okay, I'm gonna add some effects. I have a phaser. Let's see what that does. I like it. And maybe does a little too much. You know, I like it. Just a little bit though. And we can smooth it out a bit with some chorus. Sounds very wide now. Okay, I think I'm going to record that. That's my first one. I'm just going to do a few of these on each of the two synths and record them, and then I can place them where I need them after. What's a good track to follow? I want to be close to something that I can see what's going on. I'm going to put it right in here. Call it sweep 1. What is that? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And that's the same channel my mic is coming in on, so I'm going to have to mute my mic while I record this. And I'll mute the music as well. I'm just going to record the sound and line it up after the fact. So just hold on while I mute my mic here. Okay, I recorded a few there. Let's do some more subtle. Would love to be a better DAW. Love to be. Would live be a better DAW than any others? That depends. The reason I use it is because I used to do a lot of live performances as well, and it was very easy for me to take stuff from the session and then move it over to the live section. To the timeline. So there's like two different views in here. You've got this view where you can lay out all your MIDI clips to perform live using like a launch pad and stuff. And then you got the timeline version. So what I used to do is I'd come up with all my stuff in here for live performances, and whatever I wanted to make into a song, I could then drag over to this view and put it in here. And then the other reason too is, yeah, I'm doing mixing in it now, but while I'm creating songs, and for my live performances especially, Ableton is, for me, is mostly just a MIDI sequencer. For my live performances, I don't do, oh, sorry, I'm running over my headphone cord. For my live mixes, for my live performances, I don't have anything with the computer. So if I do have a laptop, it's just sending MIDI messages out. There's no audio processing through it. So for me, it was good, especially at the time too, because, sorry, yeah, okay. For me at the time, Ableton was the only one that did this. Now a lot of the DAWs are putting it in. Bitwig has it, which is very popular now. And I think even like Logic has a session mode like that too. So it isn't becoming something where you need Ableton to do that, but I've already gotten used to using it, and it fits my workflow very well, so I just kept with it. That's not to say that something else might not work better for you. I think it's all about the workflow. For a while, I tried doing a lot in the box. When I did that, I used Reason just because there was zero learning curve, because everything just looked like the racks behind me, right? So I didn't have to learn anything. I could just jump right into making music. But I found Live was pretty easy to use and very versatile for the stuff I was doing. So yeah, I'm sorry I don't have a better answer, but it's really what fits your workflow and the instruments you're using, how you're creating stuff. Just try to test a few out until you find one that fits with what you're doing. I know Logic Pro X myself. Reason is pretty good. No, I'm just curious. Yeah, yeah, it's good for me, but that's all I can say, right? It's something personal that, and like I show my workflow on here, how I create songs and how I build up my loops and everything, and start with the synths, but that's just the way I do it, you know? That's not to say that anyone else's method is wrong or right. It's just what fits your creative process. And usually it's best, whatever doesn't get in your way, whatever DAW you like are spending the least amount of time in, fiddling little stuff, is probably the best. The more you're playing the instruments, the more you're creating stuff, the better. Okay, let's come up with some more. Let's do a more subtle one without that modulation on the filter. Maybe even change the filter. That's too out of space. That's still getting, okay. That phaser is crazy. Let's do a little less release on this one. Maybe a little faster amplitude or attack. I'm going to start a little higher. There, that's exactly what I'm looking for, that little zap sound. Okay. Back into the DAW. Sweep 2. And again, I'm going to shut down my mic. With that one, I think the second one was it. Now I got some white noise sweeps. Let's play around with the FM a little bit and just see what we can come up with. So I'm just going to go back to the regular filter, 12 dB, no resonance. Open the filter all the way up. And then just go to oscillator 1 to start. I think that's FM. That one's pretty good there, but I'll keep testing. I like that. That one's really good for other songs. I don't know about this one. Same with that. I think it's this one, type C. Maybe it's B. Yeah, B. Okay, that has a little bit of chorus still. I'll center it because I can always add chorus after the fact in the box. I don't want to have everything on chorus. Okay. Now for this one, I'm just going to turn that knob manually. Oh, what did I do? There we go. Okay, gotta shut off my mic again. Every time I'm doing that, I'm running over my headphone cable in a new spot. Okay, I think that might be it for this. If I can always create stuff in the DAW as well. So I think for that one, this might be it. And now I'm going to go over to the other synth. I wonder if I can get this camera over there. So you can see what I'm doing. It's a weird synth, and you're probably not going to be able to read all the labels anyway, but at least you can see what I'm doing. So this stuff is what I do for a living. I work in broadcast television. So some of this gear I'm using here today was borrowed from my office. It comes in, having that skill comes in handy. And then being able to do music and audio production comes in handy at work. Okay, so that's the DIY synth. If you watched last week, you didn't get a good look at it because the camera was wide, but there it is now. I'm just selecting control in here, so I can control it. And then I forget which audio channel it comes in on. Just tuning up the VCA. I think that might help me. There we go. I set it to so that I can use it as a drone. I got control over the VCA. I can just open it up and do a drone, and it defaults to the A just below middle C, which is the tone that people use to tune instruments as well. So that's why I did that. Okay, so now I should have control if I want to play a note. Oh, I gotta arm it. And I don't. Give me a second to think this through. Remember last week I had all kinds of issues with MIDI not triggering stuff properly. There you go. I got a note. Let me shut it off and on again. See what's going on. Okay, last week the issue was my computer. It even crashed during the middle of the stream. So why don't I just, before I do anything, restart this computer. Sorry about the delay here. I will restart. And then hopefully things will get better. I like how the song has 3 things going on within minute 1, and then melody hook takes you into the scene. Thanks. Nice buttons. These buttons, the LED ones. Yeah, those are, all the Roland Iris stuff has that. I was a product rep when Roland came out with those, so I got a whole bunch of Iris stuff in my studio. I love it. I had to learn them inside out for work, and then they just fit my workflow too, even more than some of the newer stuff that Roland has come out with. Okay, just starting up my DAW again. But yeah, they're great synths, very geared towards live performance, which is what I loved. I used to have a rig with a System 1, System 1M, TR8, which is the drum machine, TR3, which is like a little 303 box, the VT3, I'd run the TB3 and the TR8 through it, and I do a whole performance with that. Oh yeah, and then the MX1 mixer. These mixers are cool because you can chop stuff up live and add sequenced effects and stuff. So you can kind of do live remix of your own song while you're performing it. That's neat. It was a system that I knew so well I could just do improv live, and I hardly saved any presets or anything. I just went at it and performed. My computer's taking a long time to start up for some reason. Sorry about the delay here. But there's a few key things I want off of that synth. And I gotta get it. I gotta get control of it from the computer first. That's the thing with my DIY synths. I usually don't put a keyboard on them. One time I did, and I wired the whole thing up by hand. It took forever. I think my computer's having some issues again. I don't know what's going on with this thing lately. It's like it's been having some issues with the MIDI controller, and it's not sending out MIDI messages properly. I have to at least get it to be playing a C, but would like to be able to trigger notes so I can get the percussion sound going. Show you what's going on here. I just got spinning wheel. Sorry about the delay here. Yeah, it's back, but it's just a spinning wheel. I don't know why. Last week, it just shut off completely, middle of the stream, just completely crashed. I was having trouble all stream with my MIDI notes not working properly. It either wasn't playing them or it was holding them. And then it just crashed. After the crash, it worked great, but up until then, I don't know what's going on now. It's never taken this long to just open Ableton. Of course, it always does it on a live stream. I wonder if it has something to do with me sending out the extra monitor to the stream. Maybe an Ethernet cable will straighten the connection out. Yeah, it's not an Ethernet cable though. I think it's crashed now. I'm gonna have to force quit it. Oh, right when I decided to force quit, it gave up and worked. Okay, let's see if it sends MIDI notes. That's not a good sign though, that I'm not doing anything and my CPU's bouncing around 60%. And yeah, it's not sending. I pressed about 5 notes and got 2. And now one's stuck on. I don't know what's going on with this. Let me remove some of the stuff I don't really need in here. Tracks from synths I haven't used in this song. Sorry about that tone. I gotta restart the synth. Okay, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna shut down and restart again, because something is still messed up with the computer. I'm gonna shut right down instead of just restarting. I'll restart this to get rid of that tone. Sorry about this. Of course, when I was in here by myself doing the mix on the weekend, everything worked fine. I was like, oh, my problems are solved. But I wonder if it is sending the extra output for the extra monitor. I don't know. You think it wouldn't be a big issue because it's just cloning the other one? But that's the only thing I can think of. It's the only thing that was different from the weekend. I'll give it a bit more time. It's getting a bit cramped in here now. Got all this stuff in my way. Yeah, this is the synth where I had this solder wire, 2 wires actually, to every single one of these keys. It's a top octave synth, so it generates a top octave and then divides down, and it did that twice. Old organs used to use that method, so. Okay, it started up way quicker this time. That's a good sign. See how quick it opens the project. I don't know why I get so much interference with my microphone, but there is a lot of electronics in this room. That probably has something to do with it. Okay, so it was just teasing me at first. Now it's taking forever to start up again. Well, I might as well just explain some of my synths. Yamaha DSR 1000, an FM synth that has some easy to program stuff on it. Not huge amount of programming. It's like limited controls, and you got to start from a preset, but still you can tweak the sound, which you can't do easily on most FM synths. DIY top octave synth. This is the cheesy sounding Casio I was talking about back when I first started the stream. Cheesy Casio sounds to an analog filter and analog chorus. And then the Roland System 8, very versatile. And then on the bottom down there is a Yamaha DJX. It's another bit of a sleeper synth. It's got some pretty decent sounds in it. Nothing amazing, but fairly decent sound. And you can pick them up for cheap. I see them all the time for like 150 bucks. What I like with it is the default velocity sensitivity is partially routed to the filter cutoff. So it's great for doing arpeggios or like rhythm, kind of like guitar rhythm kind of stuff, where you're playing the same note but just varying the velocity, and the filter opens and closes depending on the velocity. So it's great for that, and has some decent drum samples and stuff in it as well. Yeah, I got Spinning Wheel of Death behind me again. So this might be it for this stream. If I can't get control of that synth while streaming at the same time, then I can't do the rest of the sound effects I was going to do. But I was going to do a chiptune chord on that, because it's made specifically to do chiptune type stuff. And then a little percussive sound. It's again kind of like a video game kind of sound. It's like square wave modulating another square wave. So think of like a Commodore kind of sound, how a snare would sound on a Commodore, like a little kind of thing, something like that. And then the one filter on there, so it's got two filters, and the one is a 6 dB filter, and I put a loop in it. Normally you do a feedback loop for resonance, and you invert the phase, and that creates the resonance. But with a 6 dB, it doesn't work. It just gives feedback because the filter isn't inverting itself. So, oh, there, it's back. I don't know if it's going to work. So that 6 dB filter, it just literally feedback. And when you turn up the resonance, it just starts like howling and screaming. But if you control the cutoff at the same time, then it does some interesting stuff. Let's see. Cross my fingers. Didn't work. Now if I press a bunch, one of the bunch. maybe I can get that filter one to work. I don't know. No, I need control of it. So I don't, whatever's happening, it doesn't like to be connected at the same time. So unfortunately, that's all I can do. I'll show you quickly before I go how I do one in the box. Let me stop that ringing. Okay. So, okay. Sorry about that. Oh. Got this camera in the way now. Try not to tip the camera. Okay. So let me just show you how I do these kind of effects in the box when I have to. Might give you a better understanding to see it a little better too. So yeah, I should be up in that corner. Okay. So what I do is go here. Oh no, I don't want audio track. Sorry. Yeah, something is seriously going on with the computer right now because I'm not doing anything and it's almost at 80% CPU. So something's seriously messed up with it. Insert MIDI track. So I don't know if this is even going to work right now because I can't even insert a MIDI track. There we go. And then I just use the stock analog modeling synth in Ableton if it'll load. This is all. Yeah, I might not stream next week because I'm going to have to sort this stuff out before I do a stream again. This is 2 weeks now where my computer's just been struggling. Okay. So I'm going to do it here before the actual song starts. Usually only about 2 measures. Whoop. It's behaving very weird right now. Sorry about this. I just do a note and stretch it all the way through. So that's where it's going to start, that's where it's going to end. I come down here, shut off OS2, oscillator 1, put the noise, then the filter, either low pass or band pass. Let's do a band pass. A bit of resonance so you get a bit of that whistle and isolation. Now a cool thing with this, you can set the envelopes to linear and you can get some really long attacks. Okay. Oh. I don't have sound. Could that be it? shouldn't cause all the problems that I've been having. Oh, somehow this MX. Sorry, I just reset that MX1. I wasn't seeing it for some reason. It's still taking a long time with everything it does. It shouldn't be doing that. Okay, maybe we can hear this now. Okay, so I want it a little longer so that it peaks near the end. And then I want not decay. Decay should be long, sustain long. Release, I just want a little more there. And then whatever I do in this release, I need a bit longer on the amp. So if I click on amp, just so that I can still hear it. And then I want the sustain on the amp all the way up. So I felt like it didn't get to the peak of where it should have. So I can adjust the filter frequency and the attack time. Even a little less. And then, so effects I usually add, obviously reverb, sometimes delay. If you use the filter delay in Ableton, it's like a stereo delay, which is nice. Sometimes I pan these to go from left to right. And I often add chorus as well, just smooths them out, widens them a bit. I'll show you here though with LFO. Set it to note and crank the rate up. And then back in filter, I can send some of that into this filter. You see just a little bit of it, and it can add a lot to the sound. And I did something similar to one of the sounds on the System 8 there. But then what I would do with this is, let's say chorus. Juno style chorus. Sometimes you use stereo widening and just really widen these as well, especially in a dense song. If you want your risers to not interfere with all the chorus stuff, pan them way out to the sides. You still hear them, but it doesn't mess with all the stuff in the center like the bass. So yeah, to widen, ozone imager. Should do that before or after the chorus? Let's do it after the chorus, I guess. My computer is really struggling today. And I'll send some of that to the wide chorus. I know. Let's do that stereo delay I was talking about. There's filter delay. And that will give some stereo effect to it as well. Ooh, everything's too loud now. Turn this down over here. Okay, so I've got a few things there. If I can get my computer working again and connecting to the other synth, then I will record the things I mentioned, the chip tune, that filter whistling, and the percussion. And then I'm just going to go through, and anywhere that there's a transition or I think that something needs a little emphasis, or with the percussion, maybe just for a little section, I do it on every measure. And I just play around with those, see where I can fit them in, add the effects and things. But I'm obviously not going to be able to do that right now because I'm having too many issues. I know last week I said I need to spend some time fixing this stuff, but I think next week I'm going to cancel the stream and I'm going to sort stuff out in here first. But hopefully this weekend I can get this stuff all done and recorded. But thanks for tuning in, everyone that did, and thanks, Mary, for asking some questions. I hope it was helpful. Yeah, so hopefully maybe in 2 weeks, we'll see. 2 weeks is getting into the holiday territory, so for sure I'm not doing stuff over the holidays. I'm going to have my daughter with me, and I'm going to be spending lots of time with family. So this may or may not be the last stream of the year, but then for sure starting back in January, 8:45 every Wednesday I'll be back on it. Hopefully I'll get all this stuff sorted out. I think I'm just going to hold off until then, get everything sorted out, do some test streams maybe, and then hopefully in the new year come back strong with everything.